Hi, so let's see how we can actually use RapidMiner's templates to do predictive analytics or predictive modeling. When you start RapidMiner, you're going to see this window, okay, and here there are several different templates that RapidMiner offers. One of it would be churn modeling if you're doing prediction on churners, or if you're trying to detect fraud. Okay, you can use this template. There's also sentiment analysis, okay, if you're interested in doing that, and predictive maintenance, etc. Okay, so we're going to I'm going to use this medical fraud detection template, right? And we're going to be I'm going to go through it and explain the different parts so that you can customize it to what you need to do. Okay, so here at the left side, okay, step one, RapidMiner uses this retrieve operator. So this one you can actually drag and drop from your local repository. Okay, if you have your data set already imported, okay, under the data folder, then you can simply drag and drop, okay, for example like this. Okay, so after that, what this template does is that it removes correlated attributes. Step number 2 is the pre-processing, and it is doing one kind of pre-processing which is removing correlated attributes. I hope you still remember our video on pre-processing, the basics. There's several different forms of pre-processing. One of it is remove correlated attributes. There's also remove duplicates, and then dealing with missing values. Yeah. So here, if we take a look at the parameters for remove correlated attributes, you can see here correlation 0.95. This is the threshold by which you want to identify the correlation. So in a correlation matrix, the higher the value, the more correlated two attributes would be. Therefore, you don't need both of them because the behavior is going to be the same. Therefore, you can remove one of it. Okay, the next one is filter relation. So here it depends on you want to have greater or equal to, or just greater than, equals, etc. Okay. Here is attribute order. Attribute order consists of either original, random, or reverse. So you can try out with the rest. Okay, but so far I think original is just useful. And this checkbox here is use absolute correlation. So this is like a hard cut, a hard cut of the threshold. So if you're saying that it's greater than or equals to 0.95, so it'll be on the dot of 0.95 and above. And the last one here is use local random seed. RapidMiner by default use the same seed for every run, which means that the same collection of data points is going to be used. If this is set to true, what happens is that every run will have a different collection of data. So let's run this by clicking this play button. Okay, so we are in the results mode. Okay, and there are 3 outputs. The first one shows the performance or the accuracy of this prediction. Here we have the confidence level of our prediction, along with 14 attributes that have been chosen. And here is how the gradient boosted model looks like for each of the 3. Okay, it shows each of the 3's output. We can view the correlation matrix by searching the operator called correlation matrix. Drag and drop over there, and then the output port from the medical data, simply connect it with the correlation matrix and click on this. This is known as the multiply operator. Its function is to route the data set or any example set that it receives over to the operator that it is connected to. Okay, the same exact example set or the same exact data set. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is to have this port called mat, which is the matrix connected to the result by double clicking it. So let's run this again. Here we can see the correlation matrix, and these are the values, the correlation values. So we have 1 and 2, okay, which means that we have 2, 3. We have 3 attributes that are correlated. One is amount paid to date, and then number prescription total, as well as amount paid total. Okay, so 2 of these attributes will be removed. Okay, and if we take a look at this remove correlated attribute, if you want to see the output of it, we can always right mouse click and choose the topmost option. Okay, so we have here all of the attributes that has been chosen. We can do a comparison with the original example set. Okay, right mouse click, use example set. Okay, once again we can go to the statistics. So the statistics here shows that there are 16 regular attributes of the original data set, and after removal of the correlated attributes, there's only 14. Okay, so 2 of them has been removed. So which one? Okay, we can have a look here. Alright, so it seems that amount paid to date is the first, is the one that's left. Okay, and number prescription total as well as amount paid total has been removed. Okay, so we move on to step 3. Step 3 does the modeling as well as the evaluation of the model, all in this operator called cross-validation. So if you see in RapidMiner, there is this, if you see in RapidMiner an operator that has multiple or double of this rectangular box, okay, this means that it contains a sub-process inside it, and you can do a double click to see what's inside. Okay, with cross-validation, there are 2 columns, left and right. The left one is the training, okay, all of the processes for the operators required for the training will be placed here, and the right hand column is everything that's related to testing. Let's first have a look at the parameters for cross-validation operator. So here we can determine the number of folds for this cross-validation, okay, as well as the sampling type, be it linear, shuffled, stratified, or just plain automatic. And again, we have the use local random seed. Often we don't need to fiddle with this. So here we have split on batch attribute and leave one out. Leave one out, if we were to use this, it would be the same as having only a single cycle of the 10 folds. Right, and split on batch attribute, okay, gives you more control over the data points in each fold, but you have to set an attribute to have the role batch. Okay, so let's dissect what's inside the cross-validation operator. Here this template samples the data set based on relative sampling, okay, and it commands RapidMiner to balance the data based on these ratios of true and false classes, 1.0 and 0.2. Okay, so if we are curious as what is the output of this operator of this sampling, we can always right mouse click on the sample operator and do a breakpoint after. Now we can run, and we we can see what is the sampling looks like. So click on statistics. So here we see true is 90 and false is 18. So if we're interested to play around with how sample works, okay, we can always change the ratio here, for example, to 0.5, and then once again run it and do the statistics and see that the number of false record or labels has increased to 0.5. Alright, so what is this balance data doing here? If we uncheck balance data, it's going to simply use a sample ratio of whatever that we specify. So let's try to run it to see what is the output. Okay, it means here that for both of these labels or classes, the ratio is 0.5 as indicated. Therefore, if you want different ratios of the labels, you should always check the balance data, which allows you to specify the different ratios that you need. Okay, there's also absolute and probability. Okay, absolute sampling, you can also use this balance data, but it will be based on size of the class. Alright, so you can specify, okay, an absolute size of the class, okay, 50-50, or if you'd like it to be 50-80. Okay, so let's try running it and see what it looks like. Okay, so we have 80 and 50. Okay, 80 and 50, 80 for true and 50 for false. Alright, the next thing that is in this template is the gradient boosted trees. This is the model, okay, and you can find it under modeling here at the operators panel. And then there's there's predictive. Okay, so here are all the predictive types of algorithm or model that you can choose from. If you want to replace this operator, you can simply right mouse click, okay, and then do a replace operator, go to modeling, go to predictive, and then choose which one that you want to replace with. Okay, on the right hand side, okay, of this column is the testing. So during testing, you always will need this operator called apply model. Okay, so there's not much of to do with apply model. Okay, you take it as it is, no need to fiddle it, but you must remember that you have to connect these two connectors together. The first one is the model. Okay, so after training, this model is being trained, it will go into this connector. It will be sent over to the apply model. Okay, and here is the testing set. Okay, here is the testing set connector. All right, whereas this one is the training set connector. Okay, after that you will need a performance operator. There are several different types of performance operators available, classification, binomial, etc., that you can choose from. Okay, so here the performance is going to show you the measurement that you're interested in. Like for example, is the accuracy. Okay, do you want to know the classification error? You want to know about the kappa, okay, or the AUC optimistic. So when you run the model, you will be able to see all of the measurements that you have chosen, okay, AUC, precision recall, etc. So that's all for predictive modeling using RapidMiner.